You know, I am very proud of my heritage. I am very proud of the stories that my grandparents told me, that my grandparents told my parents, and my parents told my brothers and me. Being Native American is part of who our family is. And I'm glad to tell anyone about that. I'm just very proud of it.
Well, that was Elizabeth Warren, who is locked in a fierce battle in the state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth, against Senator Scott Brown, a Republican who won Ted Kennedy's old seat. Elizabeth Warren now wants it back for the Democrats, and she has now found herself at the center of a major controversy over the fact that she listed herself as a Native American working at Harvard. During an initial search, a genealogical society could find no trace of Warren's Native American roots. One genealogist now says it does appear that her great-great-great-grandmother was listed on some document that is not independently verifiable as Cherokee. The woman's name was Sarah Smith. Critics now question whether Warren was trying to use so-called minority status to advance her position professionally. She says that's not the case. Michael Graham is a radio talk show host and a columnist at the Boston Herald, which has been covering this story. Michael, she says great-great-great-granny had some Cherokee Indian in her, and therefore Elizabeth, is very proud of her Native American history. Fair?
Well, on the long list of things that are more Indian than Liz Warren, you can add Indian pudding ice cream, 1/6 of the band, Village People, and every member of the Cleveland baseball team, and me, Michael Graham. Because my great-great-grandmother, Nancy Hill, was a Cherokee from the Oklahoma Territory, but I've never done a single broadcast as Boston's only Native American talk show host, nor do I list myself at the Boston Herald as your Native American voice of the people. And what's really disturbing here is the reason this is an issue is because she made it an issue. She went to University of Texas and University of Pennsylvania and listed herself as a minority member of the law school faculty. Then she gets to Harvard and suddenly yes, she called herself one. Then at Harvard,
because of great-great-great-grandma Sarah Smith. Just want to make sure we have the facts out.
If your daughter played Pocahontas in the 3rd grade rendition of the story of the founding of America, she is more Native American than Liz Warren, okay? Let's be clear here. But this is what's interesting. Paul Bedard at the Washington Examiner went back and looked at the law school credentials of the people she taught with at Harvard. Everyone she taught with had a top 10 law school degree except her. She went to Rutgers, which was ranked 82nd.
It's the Harvard of New Jersey. So, wait, no, that's Princeton.
And then you go to all of the Ivy League law professors. She's next to the bottom when it comes to the standing of her law school. So now you add, I'm talking about a heritage that doesn't exist. I got some cushy jobs in academia. It looks more and more like she used her bogus standing as my fellow Cherokee to advance her cause in her academic career.
She says you're being too hard on her, that the reason she checked the box that she was Native American in her role at Harvard is because she wanted to meet others with similar backgrounds to hers. Take a listen.
The directory, I was listed in the directory because I listed it myself.
Okay, so why did you stop being listed as a...
You know, it was a long time ago, but mostly I was listed because I thought I might be invited to meetings where I might meet more people who had grown up like I had grown up, and it turned out there really wasn't any of that, so that was that.
She didn't meet anybody just like her. She just was looking for fellow Native Americans to hang out with on the Harvard campus. Michael, you're being too tough.
She actually told the Boston Herald she was hoping she'd get invited to a luncheon because, being a good liberal, she's looking for a free lunch. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Look,
let's go. Listen. Let me just jump in. Is it so much of a mystery that Ms. Warren may have stretched the truth a little bit on her Native American roots, notwithstanding the great-great-great-grandma Sarah Smith,
right,
who may or may not have been Cherokee? Nonetheless, Does anyone care? Remember Scott Blumenthal over in the state of Connecticut, who was on camera lying about going to Vietnam? Maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he just said he was in Vietnam. It was a mistake. The numerous times he said he was in Vietnam. He served in Vietnam. Meantime, the man never served in Vietnam. Never. He got several deferments. So you tell me, he still got elected, Michael. He was the Attorney General then. Now he's a senator. People don't care.
Well, you might be right, but remember, this is Massachusetts, where all of our congressmen are Democrats, where 90% of our state Senate is Democrat, and yet Liz Warren is tied or losing to Scott Brown. And I think people do care because, look, you show up at a job, you just want to get a chance at the job. We know it's tough to find jobs out there. To have someone step in front of you for that job because she's lying about being a member of a minority group is so, it's classically what's wrong with Washington, it's what's wrong with government, and I think the typical voters of Massachusetts don't like it. Also, we have a problem in that this is the second time in a row now that the Democrats have nominated kind of a haughty elitist to represent them in this race for the Senate, and both times blue-collar Democrats have said, this person doesn't understand my life, and I'm afraid for Elizabeth Warren that this lends itself to that narrative.
You know, I went to Syracuse University, and little did I know that I should have been joining like the Actor Society or support groups, because as it turns out, my sixth cousin, which is about as close to me as great-great-great-grandma Sarah Smith was to her, is Loretta Swit. Remember Hot Lips Houlihan on MASH?
Yes,
so she and I, look, I mean, I have a little acting in my roots. I had no idea. I should have nurtured that while I was at the great University of Syracuse in New York.
And many people have said I have the same personality of Larry Linville, who played Frank Burns in that show, so Megyn, you and I belong together. Finally, we found each other.
To quote the great Frank Burns, it's nice to be nice to the nice. Thank you, Michael Graham.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Megyn.
You know, I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid, a lot of TV. It turned out to serve me well, given my chosen profession, but my mom didn't think so at the time. Coming up, new information today. Wait, just send me your thoughts on that whole story. I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican. What do you think of that?